The selection hall of the colony base was bright, silent, and full of nervous humans. Every person waited for their assigned alien companion. Most companions were calm, friendly, gentle species trained for peaceful coexistence. But Evan, he already felt something strange in the air. He stood in line, holding a small bag of tools, thinking this would be simple. Get a companion, learn to work together, start a new life on the alien world. That was the plan. That was what everyone expected. But when his turn approached, the mood inside the hole suddenly shifted. The lights flickered. A deep vibration moved through the floor. People looked around in confusion. Even the guards reached for their shock shields. And then, they heard it. A roar. Not loud, but powerful enough to make the air tremble. The doors of the far end opened slowly, and two armored soldiers dragged something inside. A tall alien woman with glowing amber eyes, scales on her arms, and wild silver-black hair that looked like it had never been brushed in her life. The alien woman was not calm, not peaceful, not trained. She looked dangerous, untamed, a creature pulled out of the wild without warning. Everyone stepped back. A few humans shouted in fear. Evan's heartbeat stopped for a moment. The colony officer whispered to the scientists nearby, "Why is she here? The wild-class species are not part of this program." "We had no choice," the scientist replied. She refused every other pairing. She only reacted to one file, Evan Carter's. Evan blinked. "My file? Why me?" The soldiers released the alien woman, and instantly she stood tall, her posture sharp, her eyes scanning the hole like a predator choosing a target. Her gaze locked onto Evan. Silence fell. Even the machine stopped humming. Without warning, she walked straight toward him, her step slow but heavy. Every guard aimed their weapons at her. People moved aside, terrified. Evan didn't move. He didn't know if he should run or stay, but something inside him whispered not to show fear. The alien woman stopped only 1 foot away from him. She leaned forward, her glowing eyes studying him from head to toe. Her breathing was deep, warm, almost animal-like. Then she lifted her hand and pressed her fingers against Evan's chest, right above his heartbeat. The whole gasped, but Evan only felt a strange heat, and something else. Not pain, not danger, but recognition. The alien woman spoke for the first time, her voice soft but rough, like she was learning speech again. "Chosen, human." The officers panicked. "This is a mistake. Withdraw the pairing." "Guards, step in. Get her away from him." But before anyone could touch her, she released a sharp growl that shook the hole. Every guard froze. Evan raised his hand slowly. "It's okay," he said quietly, surprising even himself. Her eyes softened, just a little. And for a moment, the wild creature didn't look wild. She looked lost, alone, and strangely safe near him. Nobody knew why she chose him. Nobody knew what she truly was. But in that moment, everyone realized one thing. Evan was not getting a normal companion. His life had just changed. Evan's life changed the moment the wild alien woman chose him. The colony officials had no idea what to do with her. She didn't match any of their behavior charts. She didn't listen to commands. She didn't follow rules. But one thing was clear. She only stayed calm when Evan was near. Her name, according to the old database, was Kira, a member of a species believed to be extinct, known for strength, unpredictable instincts, and a bond ritual that no human had ever seen. The colony gave Evan a small living room with reinforced walls, for safety, and asked him to stay close to her until they figured out how to communicate. But Kira did not act like a monster. She acted like someone learning the world all over again. She followed Evan everywhere. She watched his movements, copied his gestures, and even tried to mimic his breathing patterns. Evan found her sitting near his workbench, watching him fix a broken panel. Her eyes glowing softly, her head tilted like she was studying him. "Yo, not what they say," Evan whispered. Kira blinked and pointed to him, then to herself. "Bond," she said slowly. Evan didn't understand, but he felt the weight of the word. The nights of fear. During the nights, things became dangerous. Kira hated closed doors. She growled whenever she heard sudden noises. Her instincts were always active, ready for a fight. One night, Evan woke up to her crouched at the end of his bed, her eyes glowing brighter than usual. "What is it?" he asked, his voice shaking. Kira didn't answer with words. She grabbed his arm gently and pulled him toward the door. Outside, alarms suddenly rang across the colony. Unknown creatures had entered the perimeter. A real attack was happening. Evan rushed to the hallway, but Kira blocked him with her arm. She stood in front of him, shoulders raised, pupils sharp like a weapon ready to strike. The colony guards arrived and yelled, "Keep her back! She's unstable." But Kira wasn't looking at them. She was scanning the shadows. Growls echoed in the distance. Creatures with sharp legs and glowing teeth crawled across the walls. The guards panicked. "Everyone back inside. They are breaking through." But Kira stepped forward, ignoring every order. Evan grabbed her hand. "Kira, please, don't go alone." She looked back at him, her expression softer for a moment, like she heard something deeper in his voice. Then she nodded once and growled at the approaching threat. When the creatures attacked, Kira moved like lightning. Her claws flashed. Her roar echoed through the hall. Her entire body glowed with energy as she shielded Evan from every strike. The guards froze. They had never seen anything like her. This wasn't madness. This was instinct. Protective instinct. When the last creature fell, Kira returned to Evan and touched his chest again, right where his heart beat strongest. Her voice was low, breath uneven. "Safe, because of you." Evan realized something terrifying and beautiful. She was dangerous. She was wild. She was unpredictable. But she wasn't trying to harm him. She was trying to belong to him. And he didn't know what that meant yet. But he knew this was only the beginning. After the attack, the colony no longer saw Kira as a wild threat. They saw her as something far more mysterious and far more powerful. But the biggest question remained. Why had she chosen Evan? Scientists, officers, and even alien historians wanted answers. They brought scanners, translators, ancient records, everything possible. But Kira did not trust anyone except Evan. She growled if someone stood too close, and she refused every test unless he was beside her. Evan stayed calm, even when she suddenly grabbed his wrist or stood protectively behind him like a silent shadow. "Let's just try to understand," he whispered to her. Kira pressed her forehead gently against his shoulder, her way of saying she agreed. The hidden bloodline. Dr. Merrin, the colony's lead xenobiologist, finally found something inside ancient archives. He called Evan urgently. "You need to hear this," he said, voice shaking. He pointed to an old hologram showing Kira's species. Her people weren't just warriors. They were the royal guardians of the outer tribes. Evan frowned. Royal? Then why is there no record of her kingdom? The kingdom was destroyed centuries ago, Merrin explained. Only a few children survived, and they carried something rare in their blood, something called the bond thread. Evan blinked. "What does that mean?" "It means," Merrin said slowly, "her species chooses only one companion for life. And they sense that person by instinct, not logic. The bond is emotional, biological, spiritual. Once chosen, they protect that person with their entire existence." Evan felt his chest tighten. "So she chose me because—" Merrin swallowed. "Because your presence calms her. Your heartbeat matches her instinct pattern. Out of millions of possible humans, you were the only one compatible." Evan looked at Kira. She sat on the floor nearby, watching him with quiet eyes. She didn't look like a queen, a warrior, or a monster. She looked young, lost, trying to understand him the same way he was trying to understand her. He sat beside her. "Kira, is that why you picked me?" She slowly touched her chest, then his. "Bond, one only." Evan's breath caught. This wasn't random. This wasn't a mistake. This was destiny written in her bloodline. The danger behind the truth. But Dr. Merrin wasn't finished. "There's more," he said, lowering his voice. "If Kira is royal blood, then the clans who destroyed her people will want to finish the job. If they find out she's alive, they'll come for her," Evan finished. "And anyone she's bonded to," Merrin added. Evan felt the weight hit him like a stone. Protecting Kira wasn't just kindness. It was survival. He looked at her again. Those wild, glowing eyes. Those protective instincts. That single word she kept using. Bond. It all made sense now. She hadn't just chosen him. She had claimed him. And that meant the clans who destroyed her people were now coming for him too. Evan exhaled slowly. "Looks like we're in this together," he whispered. Kira's eyes softened with something almost like relief. "Together," she repeated. And far beyond the colony walls, something in the darkness stirred. For days after the discovery, the colony watched the sky with fear. Strange signals were detected on the outer radar. Unidentified ships moved closer every hour. Everyone knew what it meant. The clans who destroyed Kira's people had found her. Evan stayed beside her the whole time. She did not sleep. She did not eat much. She sat near the window, staring at the stars with a quiet, tense expression, like she could feel something calling her. When the first enemy ships broke through the clouds, alarms howled across the colony. Soldiers rushed to their stations. Scientists hid inside bunkers. Civilians panicked. But Kira stood completely still. Her glowing eyes turned red gold. Her breathing changed. Her body posture shifted from confused girl to royal warrior. Evan walked to her carefully. "Kira, you're not alone. I'm here." She turned to him slowly and placed her warm clawed hand on his face. "Stay," she whispered. "Safe." But Evan shook his head. "No, I'm not hiding while you're out there alone." For a moment, her wild eyes softened, like those simple words reached a part of her no one had touched in years. Then the sky exploded. The battle. Enemy aliens landed around the colony. Tall, armored, brutal warriors. The same clans who ended her people. The colony soldiers fired, but they were outmatched. Before anyone could scream, Kira leaped forward, her body glowing brighter than ever. Her claws sliced through armored attackers. Her roar shook the metal walls. Evan watched in shock, not because she was dangerous, but because she was protecting the colony like it was her own home. The enemy leader stepped out from his ship, towering and covered in dark crimson armor. "Royal blood," he growled. "We thought you were dead." Kira stood between him and Evan. Her voice, for the first time, was steady and strong. "Not dead. Not alone." The leader laughed. "You bonded with a human? Pathetic." Kira's aura flared violently, but she suddenly stumbled. Her power was overwhelming her. She began to lose control. Eyes flickering wildly, breath shaking, claws extending too far. Evan didn't think. He ran straight to her, ignoring shouts from soldiers. He grabbed her hands, holding them tight. "Kira, look at me." She trembled, unable to focus. "Come back," Evan whispered, stepping closer. "It's me. I'm here. You're safe." Her breathing slowed. Her glowing eyes focused on his. The chaos in her aura calmed instantly. For the first time in her life, someone stopped her rage. With a touch, Kira roared again. Not wild, not uncontrolled, but powerful, royal, focused. Light burst from her body, knocking the enemy warriors backwards. The leader fell to his knees as a mark. The royal symbol burned in the air. You awakened the lineage," he gasped. "Impossible." Kira walked forward, lifting her chin high. "Bond gives strength," she said. "Human gives calm. Together, unstoppable." The enemy ships retreated. The battle ended. The new future. The colony celebrated. But Evan and Kira walked to the quiet overlook above the base. Kira gently took Evan's hand, her claws soft against the skin. "Why you?" she whispered. Evan smiled. "Maybe I was just meant to find you." She leaned her head on his shoulder, a small, shy gesture from someone once called wild. "Together," she repeated softly. Evan squeezed her hand. "Together." And somewhere above them, the stars shifted, like the galaxy itself accepted their bond. A human, a wild alien woman, two hearts chosen by fate, the beginning of something legendary.